Women want a man that they could connect with. This man knows how to be himself and knows how to effectively communicate with women. In this video, you're going to learn the mistakes that you are currently doing with women and what to do instead. You freeze up when you talk with women because you're constantly in your head. What you have to understand about being inside of your head is that you're always thinking about what to say. When you have a conversation with women, you cannot be inside of your head. The more you engage in conversation with women, you'll start to understand and start to see that the more you're inside of your head, the worse you're going to do. When you're constantly thinking about what to say next, this disrupts your flow. This disrupts your rhythm with the conversation that you're having with her. When you're constantly inside of your head, you cannot build a strong connection with women because you don't know how to build that connection, right? You don't know how to build that connection because you're constantly thinking about what to say. You have to flow. The conversation has to be a good back and forth. You have to flow when talking with women. You have to be smooth. You cannot be thinking about what to say next. You can't be thinking about how the conversation is going. You can't be thinking about what she is saying, and the best way to respond. You're always thinking about what to say next, about how to say the next thing is what you're going to say next, something that she's gonna like. You're always thinking in conversation with women, and it is why you can't build a solid connection. Women need connection. They need to be able to connect with you in order to feel you. If they cannot feel you, they cannot connect with you. And when you're constantly inside of your head, she's not going to be able to feel you. You being inside of your head, always constantly thinking about what to say next, is ruining your conversations with women. Get out of your head. The way you talk with women should be the same way you talk with your boys. When you're talking with your boys, you're just flowing. You're having a good time. You're not constantly worried about what to say next. You're not constantly thinking about what to say next. You just flow. You know what I'm saying? You flow. You're with your boys. You kicking back. You're chilling. So you're not worried about what to say. You just flow. You just say whatever comes to mind. You're not thinking about what to say. You're not thinking if what you're going to say next is the right thing to say. You're not in your head when you're hanging out with your boys, right? So why do you need a switch when it comes to talking with women? Why do you have to analyze what you're thinking? There's no need to do any analyzing, right? You just have to flow like if you were just talking to your boys. And this is how it should be when you talk with women. You have to flow and you have to get out of your head. There's no point in being inside of your head. What's the point? You know what I'm saying? You're not solving a problem. You're not doing any critical thinking. There's no critical thinking needed when speaking with women. The problem is that when you talk with women, all of a sudden, you're not flowing. All of a sudden, now you have to perform. Now you have to act differently. Now you have to be a guy that she likes, right? This is why you constantly think about what to say next. You're constantly thinking if you're saying the right things, right? Stop being in your heads. Get out of that mind state and just flow. Flow with her. Don't think about what to say next. It doesn't serve you in any way, shape, or form. Another thing that is making you freeze up when you talk with women is you're focused on your insecurities. You're constantly worried about your looks, about your voice, about your mistakes. You're focused on how your hair looks. You're focused on how your clothes looks. You're focused on mistakes that you've previously made. Things that already happened, right? You're focused on these things and you believe that women are solely focused on your insecurities. You believe that she's focused on your mistakes. The truth is, she doesn't know. She doesn't know your insecurities. When you speak with women, do you focus on their insecurities? Do you know what their insecurities are? No. But when you're constantly focused on your insecurities, on how you look, on how you dress, on your voice, on your past mistakes, initially, women don't know your insecurities. But when you constantly focus on these things, she could feel and read your energy. And she knows that you're focused on your insecurities because of the way that you speak, the way that you talk with them. You're coming across as insecure, which is ruining the conversations that you have with women. Look, you always want to be on point. Before leaving the house, you want to make sure that you're dressed up nice. You want to make sure that your hair looks good. You want to make sure that everything is on point because first impressions are important, extremely important. First impressions will make or break your situations with women, whether you succeed with women or whether you fail with women, right? So you always want to be on point when you leave the house. Dress up nice. Make sure you look good. Put on some cologne. Put on some accessories. Make sure you look good. But when you have conversations with women, don't focus on your insecurities. Don't focus on what you think she doesn't like, right? Because she doesn't know. Women aren't analyzing you the way you're analyzing yourself. She's not constantly focused on what you think your insecurities are. When you're having a conversation with women, focus on her. Take your focus off of you and put the focus on her. Focus on her. Focus on having a conversation with her. This is another big thing that is stopping you with having great conversations with women. This is why you freeze up in conversations, because you're focused on your insecurities. Another thing that is making you freeze up when you talk with women is that you think you have to be perfect. You believe that you have to say the right things. You believe that you have to have pickup lines. You believe that what you say is gonna get her to like you. You believe that saying the right things, saying the perfect things is what actually makes the difference in conversations. But this is exactly why you keep freezing up with women, because you focus on saying the perfect thing. I'm gonna tell you this right now. It doesn't matter what you say with women. There is no such thing as the perfect thing to say. You have been sold a lie. You believe that what you say equals to attraction, right? What you say is attraction. No. How you come across is more important than what you actually say. Your energy is more important than what you actually say. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. You could believe you're saying the right things, the perfect things, but still end up failing with women because of how you came across. Your energy was off. You wasn't confident. You thinking you're saying the right things is actually ruining your conversations with women. This is why you keep freezing up, because this ties into being in your head. The more perfect you believe you have to be with women, the more you're going to be inside of your head, right? The more you're going to fail in conversation. This goes back to talking with your boys. When you're hanging out around your boys, right? You don't think about what to say. You don't try to be perfect. You don't try to switch yourself up. You don't try to change yourself. But as soon as you talk with women, you switch up. As soon as you talk with women, you try to be somebody that you're not. Be present with women. Step outside of your head. Stop trying to say the perfect thing, right? Be present. Be present and just flow with women. This is what women like. Women like a man that could be himself and knows how to connect with her on a deeper level. And this is how you effectively communicate with her. By being outside of your head, you stop focusing on your insecurities and you stop trying to be perfect. You stop trying to use these corny ass pickup lines. We don't use pickup lines over here. We don't need to use pickup lines. That shit is corny. That shit is whack. We don't need to use that, right? What you do need to do is shift your focus and attention to her, to the conversation. You're not going to connect with her if you're too busy looking in the mirror of your thoughts. You know, step outside of that. Be present. Focus on the conversation. Focus on flowing. You know, this is what is going to drastically change your conversation with women. This is how you're going to succeed with women. Listen, what I want you to take away from this video is that women don't remember what you say. Women remember how you made them feel. Focus on giving her feelings. Focus on giving her emotions. Stop focusing on making her like you by the words you say. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's the impact that you're having on her emotions. You know? Stop being inside of your head. This is how you're gonna drastically improve your conversations with women. With that being said, if you made it this far to the video, click below, hit that subscribe button, and like I always say, when you chase greatness, everything you want will follow. I'll see you guys in my next video.